I can't believe someone hasn't created this game already, so I'm gonna do it myself. We're basically trying to figure out the year a certain map or globe was released. So often people find these artifacts in like a garage or a grandma's house, and they want to know what year the world looked like this. To be fair, I think there are some games kind of like this online, but not really. Pretty much every day, people are asking the internet exactly how old some of these maps and globes are, so we're gonna use that. Now, this is technically already a flow chart that's supposed to help you date undated world maps, but we can't use this would obviously be cheating. Also, oftentimes this isn't going to give you the exact year, it's just going to give you a range of years, which is probably actually what we're going to have to do here too, but let's see if we don't have to. So here we go, first map, let's see. There's really so many ways to do this. Immediately off the bat, we can assume it's going to be the last like 150 years. To me, I'm getting vibes that Canada here is technically still under the UK, possibly. Immediately just looking at Europe, we can definitely say post-World War II, because Germany just does not have their World War II borders, no like weird enclave here. It's also not World War I because of all the broken nations around. So Syria and Iraq have their independence. So does Egypt and Sudan. I think, wait a second, it's all under this pink. You know what? That might not be the case. Just to throw out a number, I'm immediately thinking like 1950s. It's got to be around there because this is all still French West Africa. So a lot of these places got their independence, I believe, in the 60s. Oh yeah, there's still the Belgian Congo. Uh-oh. Now there's probably really small little details in here that'll like point to an exact year, and I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to find it, to be honest. What is super fascinating about this map is that Germany is not divided. This is clearly post World War II, but with all these colonies, it's definitely not like the 1990s when they reunited. That's the interesting part about this game too, is that sometimes, I mean, I don't want to say the maps are wrong. Sometimes the maps are going to have some bias. I mean, every map, I guess, kind of does. Okay, this is somewhat cheating because we should be knowing this off the top of our head, but this is still the first map, so, you know, maybe it'll eventually solidify there. A lot of French Africa got their independence in exactly 1960. Some places in 1962, and all of British Africa followed maybe like 2 years, 3 years later. So I think my initial guess of like the 1950s was probably correct. I don't know if we're gonna get an exact year though. Before I check on the answer, I almost forgot to check Asia real quick. So India is independent with Pakistan as well as East Pakistan. That says a lot. So Bangladesh, it's definitely, I mean, we already knew it was before the 70s. And Korea is still united. So this is maybe before the Korean War. Is this like late 1940s? But China is united. I guess it's a communist China. This says Taiwan. I'm thinking like exactly 1950 or maybe 1951. The Korean War started June 25th, 1950, and China became communist, ending their civil war in 1949. So I think in that range. This person's answer was July 1958, and that is because you can actually find it somewhere on eBay, where in the bottom right-hand corner it says published 758. But it's clearly taking different parts of the map in different years, because that's just how they had to do it back in the day. And apparently East Germany is not shown because West Germany didn't officially recognize them until the 70s. So the maps were just ignoring that it was split up. This is what I'm saying. The maps will have mistakes, which makes this all the more difficult. This is really like a Frankenstein map. Let's try another one. This one is definitely not in English. It's also just of Europe, which is going to make our job here way more difficult. Once again, we can definitely say post-World War II. Also, this is a Czechoslovakia. There's also Yugoslavia. I really wish we could look at Africa and see what that looked like, because that tells us a lot. Or Asia, or anything. The lowlands look the same. There looks to be kind of a Luxembourg. I would assume it's immediately after WW2, and I actually think that for this game, that's a range that you can probably predict. More than likely, people aren't just going to have access to a map that's like 150 years old. A lot of this stuff probably was made in the 40s and 50s, especially if like the public has no idea what year it's coming from. This person answered somewhere in the range of 1947 and 1954. And the giveaway here was this free territory. It was established in 1947 and it was dissolved in 1954. So that range checks out. Again, some of these really small details that, you know, if you gloss over, they can really tell you so much. I actually didn't even see that until I really zoomed in. It's so hard to see. Let's try this one. This one is in Danish, and it might be a little bit harder to see the political borders just because there's not like a whole lot of color. So what are these giant red circles? I'm guessing that's showing us capitals or just major cities. It's not showing us capitals. Well, India is independent. Also, can I make out Bangladesh? I don't know what's going. I think that is that no, I don't know what that is. Dang it, it's in Danish. This would be a lot easier if it wasn't. I think that is an independent Bangladesh though. Doesn't really matter because we can see all of Africa is independent. Is even Namibia independent? Because that's a big one. One of these nations was independent in the 70s. When did they change their name? Or is this again one of those Danish things, the Congo? There's really not a lot we can look at in the Western Hemisphere to figure out the exact age, unless they have the outlines of all the states, which it looks like they're all there. California, I mean, we kind of solidified this stuff a while ago, the state borders and everything like that. I can't really make out that that's definitely a normal Germany. Is it, or is it split up? Luckily, we have a more zoomed in photo here. Oh yeah, that's definitely split. You can see East Germany and West. So it's before 1990 because Germany united in 1990. Again, it gets really confusing though because like we saw, sometimes they base a map off of like a certain year and the map doesn't actually release until like years later. So there's a big difference between when the map was published and more than likely when they actually took the data. There's also still a Yugoslavia. Is Czechoslovakia still combined? I think it is. I'm thinking definitely after 1975, but before 1990. I think everything here is independent. The chances are it's probably somewhere in the 80s this was released. Maybe 85. I'm not sure why that number sticks out to me. Congo is called ZAR. See, someone thought of the same exact thing. That means it's post 1971. It's funny to see everyone has different key factors that they look at first. This person also identified that Vietnam is united, so we're definitely talking about post 1975. There would be a South and Vietnam if it was before that. The consensus is about 1980s for sure. The exact date this person came up with is 81, 82 to 84, and apparently that's tested by using this flow chart here. Someone found this old map in their grandma's house. This is going to be a difficult one because it's only just this image. This is weird immediately because look at this Germany. That is a thick Germany that's clearly been eaten by both the no-no Germans and the Soviet Union. So we're definitely World War II time. This is probably 1939. That's like the first date that comes up because Paris is still independent. The Germans have not just gone around the Maginot Line. They're about to though. The Anschluss has happened of Austria. Also Czechoslovakia is gone. Hungary's taken this part of Romania. Of course, Yugoslavia is still around. Italy took Albania. This is like exactly 1939 to 1940, somewhere right there because the Germans invaded September 1st, 1939, and they ended that whole thing only about a month later, 35 days later. So between the range of May, because this is when the Germans declared war on the Netherlands and Belgium to go around France and then capitulate France. It's like a 9-month period here, which is actually amazing they got this map out at that time. This person is actually pointing out there's a little bit of inconsistencies on the map. I mean, we're really just kind of arguing over the exact month. We know the exact probably year range, but again, the maps are probably a little bit inaccurate or they're not recognizing everything. Ooh, this one won't be easy either. We only have the North American continent to date this map. Dating maps, weird. We definitely have a Dominion of Canada up here, so they're still technically British, but we have all the outlines of the states. California, Nevada, Arizona, they're all firmly there. Washington looks a little bit weird because that's because of this river. Does Spain still have, what is up with this yellow? I'm thinking that's just a coincidence, maybe. It's an independent Central America. I really wish we could zoom in more. Oh, this is called the West Indies. I believe I've seen this map before. Also, what are these triangles signifying at all? West Indies. You know, the other context we always have to consider is like when they were probably publishing maps for like the public to release, I guess, to buy. Is this like early 1900s or, because West Indies is the thing that's like freaking me out. Was that just a term that was used? I wish more of the capitals were displayed because maybe we'd be able to get some more extra information out of that. Cuba's definitely independent. It's not under Spain. So it's after the Spanish-American War, which, yeah, 1900s. I would assume this is probably World War I times. I guess it could be later than that. It definitely could be. It's after World War I, but it's before like the 1980s. Oh, this is the key context here. Some cities that have a circle have only a population of 1 million, or they have over 1 million. The triangles have a population of 1 million to 300,000. So the triangles are not that big. So if you know when certain cities passed certain population milestones, then you can kind of figure this out. Cuba is independent and Puerto Rico is as well. That was the first thing my eyes went to. Newfoundland is not part of Canada, so before the 31st of 1949. That's crazy. Baja California has not been divided. This is possibly 1927 to 1930. I don't even know if I gave an answer to that. I was just, yeah, I threw a range out there, but this is a way more exact range. Oh, this is a key detail. Las Vegas isn't on the map. Crazy that we have a map here that just doesn't show the existence of Vegas. It's surprising, like it wasn't that long ago. Also, Los Angeles only had like 300 to 1 million people at this time since it's a triangle. Most of these places are actually triangles. Yeah, so like 1927 to 1930, that's amazing. I just love when we have a full map because there's lots of things to look at, but this one looks ugly. It's gonna be hard to visually just see. I don't know why they chose to color it like this. I'm assuming, yeah, this is definitely World War I. Some of this stuff looks weird though. That's like an Austria-Hungary. I don't know why, I can't even see the Ottomans. The Chinese Empire, this is still the Russian Empire, so it's definitely World War I. But before the Russian Civil War, we probably have some German African colonies down this way, maybe during World War I too. Some of the stuff, it does like literally look inaccurate, but I don't think they really cared at this time. The world map was changing so much. You can narrow the time frame to 1897 to 1910, possibly 1897 to 1905, maybe during the Russo-Japanese War, although apparently the flowchart is saying 1868 to 1883. Was there a smaller detail in here missing? Someone misses a small detail? It's hard to tell because like what's going on with Cuba, that was going to be the giveaway for me. Is that under Spain? I agree, like immediately before WWE. One of the things about this game is because the maps are inaccurate, and also I don't really know how many maps you can find out there that are reliable. That's a big part. That's what makes, I think, this difficult. That's why you just find like a Wikipedia map made by some historians. Look, 1815. There's plenty of maps like this that exist, and then, you know, just hide what year it is. Post it up on like a little game thing. I think this way would be better. I had to play my game where I was using people's questions on the internet, but if you made the game like something more like this, or you Google searched a map of the world 1453, eliminated, you know, don't show the date. I don't even know if I want people to have multiple choice. It should be like a Wordle thing. Anyway, something like that. And big thanks to my patrons. Destiny Ducker 9000. Sebi, if you hear this, I love you. Drew now. I am the kidnapper. Fat Norwal. Carmel S. No one pays Inquisitor Zarius. Reno's best girl. Luxembourg 5610. Robert E. Rye the Pie. The Great Ralphie. The Mexican 760. John Denver. Glad and Jack Traven's annoying friend. And why am I doing this?